Hello students, greetings to all. Welcome to my commerce class, and today we will be doing chapter 4, Banking Latest Trend. And in this video we will be covering NEFT, RTGS and e-banking. Just go through the syllabus. I am not reading it. Learning objectives. After studying this chapter, you should be able to understand real-time gross settlement, RTGS, National Electronic Funds Transfer, NEFT, e-banking, which is also known as your electronic banking. In this, we'll be also learning about debit and credit cards, ATM, mobile banking, SMS alert, etc. And also issue of bank draft online. So these are our learning objectives. In this video, we will be learning about RTGS, NEFT and e-banking. This is the first video, and the rest of the portion from this chapter will be covering in the second video. The first point or the first topic is real-time gross settlement, which is known as RTGS. So here now you have to understand what is real-time and gross settlement. In the meaning, when we'll be discussing, we'll be learning about what do you understand by real-time and gross settlement. So let's understand what do you mean by RTGS. It is a fund transfer system under which transfer of funds takes place from one bank to another on a real-time basis. A real-time basis means whenever a request is being done by the customer or made by the customer to the bank, immediately the bank process your transactions. So there is no waiting period over here. So that is known as your real time. Whenever you put a request, immediately the bank takes your request and transfer the amount or process your amount. Settlement of real time means there is no waiting period. Waiting period means, like suppose you put your request at 10 o'clock and the transfer takes place at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. This does not happen in case of RTGS. The transfer is settled as soon as it is processed. Gross settlement means, so this is another word, gross settlement. Gross settlement means the transactions is made on one-to-one basis without bunching with any other transactions. That means, suppose you are putting your request, some other customers are also putting a request. So there is a, say, around 1 hour waiting period. So within that 1 hour, suppose like if 10, 15, 20 customer, whoever puts a request, all together, all the request will be processed. But here in RTGS, this does not happen. It takes place on one-to-one basis, individually and also continuously. So you can say that this is the fastest possible system for transfer of money through the banking system. Let us understand the features of RTGS. Like RTGS is not available at all branches in India or in your own country. This facility is provided only by the CBS enabled bank branches. That means the branches, those who are CBS enabled, that means core banking solutions. So those banking which has a facility of your core banking solution they can only give RTGS facilities. So when you are opening an account and if you want to avail such kind of facility, you can ask bank for this, that whether this bank has got RTGS facility or the CBS enabled or not. RTGS transactions are processed immediately and continuously throughout the banking hour rather than in batches, which I have already explained you. The minimum amount in a RTGS transactions is 2 lakhs. That means less than that you cannot avail RTGS facility, and there is no upper limit that more than 2 lakhs any amount you can transfer through this RTGS system. The receiving or the beneficiary bank must credit the customer accounts within 30 minutes of receiving the fund transfer message. So like say what happens, like once the transactions are processed from one bank to another bank, so the receiving bank towards the other end, so that bank keeps the amount on hold for 30 minutes. Now this is for security reason, that if any fraud has taken place, anyone has misused your account, that still you have 30 minutes, because the message is already sent to you for the transactions which have been processed by the bank. So you can call the bank and ask them that this transactions was not made by me, so please stop the transaction. There is a reason for that, because once the transactions takes place or the transfer takes place, the transfer is final and irrevocable. That means bank cannot give you, return back your money. So that is called final. The transfer is final and irrevocable. Our next topic is National Electronic Funds Transfer, NEFT. So let's understand the meaning of name. National, that means the transactions over here, the transactions or the transfer through NEFT can take place only within your country. That's why it is called National Electronic Funds Transfer. So NEFT is a country-wide system by which an individual, firm or a company can electronically, through your device, computer, mobile, PC, whatever it is, laptop, whatever system you have, electronically transfer funds from any bank branch to another individual, firm or a company having an account. That means to whom you are transferring should have a bank account with any other bank branch in a country. The fund transfer take place at a particular period of time. That means say in a working day, say around, it takes place around 6 to 7 times. So there are particular time on a working day. At that particular time only the transfer takes place or the transactions are processed. Till then all transfers are held. In other words, you can say NEFT transactions are settled in batches. That means all together, whatever the transactions are bunched, they are processed at one time. Say for example, 10 o'clock is the time. So before 10 o'clock, whatever the requests have been made for NEFT transfer in the bank, all will be processed at 10 o'clock together. Then next say it is at around 12 o'clock or say 11:30. So all the requests which are made by the customer between your 10 o'clock to say 11:30 or 12 o'clock, whenever the transfer takes place, all the all the transactions or all the requests will be processed at that particular time, that is 11:30 or 12 o'clock, whatever the time is mentioned by the branch. Now let us understand the features of NEFT. A bank branch must be NEFT enabled to become a part of NEFT fund transfer network. Number two, an individual firm or a company can make use of NEFT system without having a bank account. Now try to understand. In RTGS, we learned some different thing. Like you need to have a bank account, from there only the RTGS transactions takes place. But in NEFT, you don't need a bank account to transfer. Any transfer, you can transfer without having a bank account. So without having a bank account, by depositing cash at NEFT enabled bank branches. So any bank which are NEFT enabled, you can deposit a cash over there and transact and transfer the amount through this NEFT system. But in order to receive that fund through NEFT system, an individual, firm or a company must have an account with the NEFT enabled bank branches. That means the person who is transferring need not to have a bank account, but the person who is receiving the amount must have a bank account with a NEFT enabled bank branches. In case one does not have a bank account, the maximum amount that can be transferred through NEFT system is 49,999. If you don't have a bank account, you can transfer the amount, but the maximum amount that you can transfer cannot exceed more than 49,999. There is no minimum or maximum amount if you have a bank account. So any amount can be transferred through NEFT when you have a bank account. No limitations on the minimum amount also, and also the maximum amount with the person having a bank account. As we have learnt earlier only in the definitions, NEFT transactions takes place in batches. That means all are collected together, all the requests are collected together and they are processed at a particular time. NEFT transactions cannot be used to receive foreign remittances. Now what is foreign remittances? Suppose like any family member is a foreign worker, and if he wants to transfer fund from foreign country to their family or to any individual of their own country, they cannot use this NEFT facilities, because NEFT does not allow any collection from foreign country. The sender of the fund means the person who is putting the request for the transfer of fund. The sender of the fund has to pay some charges for NEFT transfer, but the receiver of the fund has to pay no charges for receiving the fund. There are some differences between NEFT and RTGS. So first of all, NEFT, the first one, NEFT transactions, you can see they are settled in batches. But in case of RTGS, the transactions are processed individually and continuously. That means on a real time gross basis. Second point, in case of NEFT, there is no minimum value. But in case of RTGS, the minimum amount that can be transferred is rupees 2 lakhs. You cannot avail these facilities if you want to transfer amount less than 2 lakhs. Point number 3, in case of a NEFT, you can do the transactions 6 to 7 times on a working day. But in case of a RTGS, there is no limit on the number of transfer during the day. Whenever on the real time basis you put a request and bank will process your request. So these are the 3 major differences between your NEFT and RTGS. The next topic is electronic banking, which is also known as e-banking. First of all, let me tell you that whenever you open an account with a bank, a particular branch, so you don't become a customer of that branch only, but you become a customer of the bank. Like say for example, if you are opening a bank account in Matigara Siliguri SBI branch. So after opening a bank account in SBI Matigara Siliguri over here, you don't become the customer of this branch, but you become a customer of the entire SBI bank family. So from anywhere in India or in any other place outside India also, you can do transactions through SBI. So that is the advantages of the e-banking. Let us understand the meaning of e-banking. Means banking transactions carried out with the help of computer system. Any customer or the user having a personal computer, laptop, mobile and a browser can access the bank website and avail this e-banking services. Electronic banking is the banking over the internet and it is a part of a virtual banking system. Now let us understand or let us see the features of e-banking. First of all, in e-banking, like e-banking is a virtual banking, a part of a virtual banking. So when you visit this virtual bank, there is no face-to-face contact between the persons of the bank and the client or the customer. You don't have any interaction with them in face-to-face because you are visiting the website and taking the facilities of virtual banking. Second point, both the customer and the bank needs a device, a computer, mobile, laptop or any other electronic device. Point number 3, the client has to give e-banking option to the bank. Like say whenever you open a bank account, you need to put a request for electronic banking. So once electronic banking, or it is also known as your internet banking. So you have to put a request that I want to avail such kind of facilities. Then only the bank will allow you for e-banking facilities. Point number 4, the bank staff and the client must understand e-banking technology, but means some kind of knowledge about e-banking both on the part of customer and a part of a banking staff is required. Customer gets Coming back to point number 4 again, the bank staff and the client both must understand or should have a knowledge about your e-banking technology. Point number 5, customer gets 24 hours and 365 days a year service through e-banking. That means there is no holiday in terms of a physical place, a physical bank like which you see, a traditional bank which you see. There is a holiday, Sunday is there, national holidays are there, other festivals are there. But in case of e-banking, the services are available all throughout 24 hours and 365 days. Point number 6, customer can make the transactions from their residence, from their office, and even while traveling, that is on the move. Physical place is not important over here. You can do the transactions from any part of the world, of your country. Only the thing you need, that you should have an electronic system, an electronic device, and a internet facilities or a network facilities, and you can avail these services of a virtual banking. Point number 7, it gives a sense of security to the customer. Now, what kind of security? Like say, they do not face the risk of carrying cash. Like when you carry a cash, there is always a risk of say theft, robbery, or even losing your cash also. Even the fake notes are also there. So all this kind of risk is not there. So a sense of security on the part of customer is there. The customers are very, very much satisfied with e-banking technology. Advantages of e-banking. Now these advantages, they are divided into two parts. First one, benefit to the customers, and then the benefit to banks. Like customer gets benefit in different way and bank also gets benefit in different ways. So there are five benefits to the customers. First benefit, customer can get 24 hours, 365 days a year services, as I have explained you earlier. Point number 2, customer can make permitted transactions from residence or office, and even while traveling, they don't need to go to the bank. They can do this permitted transactions from any part of your country or the world. Point number 3, see, recording of each whenever you make a transaction, the transaction gets recorded. So recording of each and every transactions also inculcate a sense of financial discipline, that how much money has come into your account and how much money has gone out from your account. So you keep a check on that. So it gives a sense of financial discipline among the customers. Point number 4, customer feels a sense of security and they do not face the risk of carrying cash. Point number 5, unlimited access to the bank increases customer satisfaction. It is not required that you have to visit this virtual banking during the daytime or during the working hour of the bank. Any time of the day or night, you can visit the website of the bank and avail these kind of facilities. Only the problems that we will discuss in the disadvantages part, some difficulties are there. Otherwise, unlimited access, any number of times you can visit this virtual banking system. Now, there are some benefits to the banks also. First of all, the bank gets a competitive advantages. The second one, network of the bank is not limited to the number of branches. Anywhere From anywhere you can open your bank account, and from anywhere you can take the facilities of the banking system. Rather, it expands far and wide. You don't need to open an account anywhere. Like suppose you have a transferable job. So like today you are placed in Siliguri and next time you are going to Kolkata. So you need to again open a bank account in Kolkata. You don't need to do it. You can transfer your account there, or you can keep your account in Siliguri and do all your transactions in Kolkata also. So there is no need to open a several bank account wherever you are transferred. Centralized database reduces load on branches. That means the centralized data are stored in one place. So from anywhere, from any app, mobile app which provides you these facilities, you can get all the informations related to your account. Even the ATMs which are there, like they are also connected with this centralized data system, and you don't need to go to the bank to update your passbook, or to know about your balances, or to know about the transactions which has taken place in your bank account. Let's come to the disadvantages part of e-banking. Though e-banking has got lots and lots of advantages to the customer and also to the bank, but there are some disadvantages, but they are very few, they are very minimum. First disadvantages is the bank and its client have to invest some money in e-banking technology. Bank has to invest money in the software that they develop, the computer system that they have, the server that they have to purchase, they have to install, and even the customer or the client needs to have a good mobile phone which supports this app, or a computer system or a laptop. So they need to have this in order to avail such kind of facility. So a little bit investment is required. Training in technology is needed for both client and the bank staff. Bank staff particularly, they need training because they have to handle this software. But software which the facilities which are available to us, or the option which are available to us, they are very few. And by like visiting the website once or twice or thrice, or within say few 1 month, like they are so user friendly that we get very much used to the software, the website, or the mobile app that we use. So we don't need such kind of particular training to operate this bank softwares. Point number 3, client may not be able to transact due to defect in virus in technology. Now this is the minimum. Like see, if you are having your PC and if you want such kind of like banking transactions and all, then your PC must be having your antivirus program. So if you are having antivirus program in your computer system, then you don't need to worry about that. So these are very negligible types of disadvantages, like which you can overlook it also. Another point is given over here, but this is also like hardly, you cannot make such kind of mistake. Like say an oversight or error on the part of bank or a client may be harmful, or a very harmful. For example, rupees 5 lakh might be transferred because of the error in mentioning one extra zero in place of 50,000. And see, like I also use this kind of facilities, and whenever you transfer fund, the confirmation on the screen comes at least twice or thrice, and then again when the final OTP, when it is sent to your mobile, then also the amount is mentioned. So if the customer becomes so negligent, and 3 to 4 times if they start making a mistake, then that is not the fault of the banking software. But even you have to be little careful about this, because these are the disadvantages of e-banking. So in this video, we have discussed about your NEFT, RTGS and electronic banking. In the next video, we'll be discussing about EFTS, that is electronic funds transfer system, mobile banking, SMS alert, ATM, debit card, credit card, telebanking, and CBS, that is core banking solutions. That will be second video or the next video. Till then, stay inside, stay safe, and always take your learning forward. Thank you.